Alright guys, you got the QCat. Wanted to make this video about these ham radios. That's what you guys call. And this is the Baofeng. It's the UV5R. It's the E-Tech City. It's basically a smaller version of this radio. And you have this, it's the E.F. Johnson. Okay, this is a commercial radio. This radio, it operates the same as in push to talk and everything else, but this is much more advanced than these radios here. Okay, we're gonna worry about that radio later. All right, these radios here, a lot of you guys have. Okay, they talk, they do all that fun stuff. It's VHF and it's UHF. Okay, VHF being anything starting with the ones. UHF is being anything starting with the fours. Okay, in reality that's not what it actually is, but that's what we're gonna go with. Okay, these radios, you know, you have your orange button, which is the call button, your big button in the center is to push to talk, then you have your monitor button, which opens the squelch. Okay, does that. Okay, these radios, they also have depending on how long you press the call button for, it'll make an alarm. Okay. Or it'll goes to FM. Okay, as you can see that. Okay. Now the cool thing about these radios that they go to FM is you can have one of these and you can listen to emergency broadcasts. Before I get a strike, you can listen to emergency broadcasts on your radio. Okay. They also, oops, hold on, hit that again. You can also just type in your local station. Okay, 91.500. All right, I just put that in. Just there's nothing there. Okay, so that's how you use the FM portion of your radio. Cool thing about these radios is that if you noticed, when I first hit the FM button, it went to 65 megahertz. Okay, 65 megahertz is used by the military. Okay, any ham radio operator knows back in the days of 6 meters, 50 to 54 megahertz, when you used to get your TV from your standard antenna. Some idiot with a CB radio was down the block in the next building from you. You know, the guy would talk on his radio and would totally wipe out like channel 2 and channel 5. That's because the 6 meter band was really close to the TV broadcast band. And when they went digital, they actually moved away from that frequency block, and now they're somewhere up in the 600 megahertz or something to that effect. So there's a big chunk of space up there. But either way, military will use from 56 to 85 megahertz. So, and if you look into some of the military like on-ship frequencies, you're gonna find some really oddball frequencies. It'll just be the first 2 digits and then like the last 3. So it'll be, you know, something to the effect of like, let's just say 71.400. Okay, and you know, if you go to wide FM, you never know. You may just hear one of those. Okay, so important to know how to use the FM function. So instead of holding your call, just tap it and it takes you to your FM stations. Okay, so real good thing to learn. Again, orange button. This radio also does it. All right, in case you have one like this. Okay, you just tap it. See, takes it directly down to 65 megahertz. Okay, you cannot talk down here. The antenna is nowhere near tuned for it. You could forget about that. The radio, it'll just go back pre-programmed frequency. Okay, so that's not going to work. Okay, so nice to know. What's also interesting is if you tune around 65 megahertz and just either push your button up one by one or anything to that effect. You still hear your cable TV audio will actually bleed over. It's actually kind of interesting. Then you can, go sit in front of your TV and be like, I think that's HSN, and you can sit there and see the major delay that there is between the radio and the actual TV. Anyway, that's getting sidestepped. Now, as you can see, this radio is also VHF and UHF, okay? You have the VHF being in the ones and the UHF being in the fours, okay? How do you switch between those two? Well, you do not hit the VFO MR. That takes you somewhere else, okay? To go from the side with the 1 to the side with the 4, you hit the button that says AB, okay? And if you notice, there is a arrow down there, okay? I have a lot of light on this. I didn't realize it was this much. Hang on. Let me see if I can eliminate one of the lights. There you go. Oh, that's much better. So, you see in the lower left hand side where it says 440.800, see that little arrow? So you hit that and it says 162.355. Okay, that's how you switch between the two bands. Okay, now important to know, okay, your weather frequencies start at 162, I want to say 400, but don't hold me. Yep, 162.400. The wind was out at 8 miles an hour. Okay. The pressure was 29.9. That is the NOAA. Okay. That is where you listen to your weather broadcasts, in case you have a big storm coming, anything to that effect. Okay. Now there are 10 NOAA channels. Okay. So I believe they're from 162.4 to 162.55. Okay, what does that mean? 162, the decimal's already there. 0.5550. I'm trying to eliminate the lighting here, and it's really hard. I'm sorry. Okay, see, so 162.55, and as you can see, there's thunderstorms. Highs in the lower 90s. Okay. In the upper 60s. Yeah, it's hot down here. Okay, so you have 162.55, and then 162.5 is also another frequency. Okay, that's another one there. Okay, so from 162.4, 400. Okay, there's one there. To 162.55. Those are your weather frequencies. Now, how do you know which one is yours? Well, very simple. Whichever one gives you the strongest signal strength. You see up here? You see the little cell phone looking strength thing? Yeah, that's your signal strength. Okay, that also tells you how far from a transmitter or the transmitting source you are. Okay, so that's what that is. Okay. Now, here's an idea. In a SHTF situation, right? Say your frequency for NOAA is 162.475. Okay, that is one of the NOAA frequencies. See, as you can see. Oh wait, it just went away. Okay, but let's just say that the hell was that? Oh, let's just say that is the frequency for your area, right? And you need help, and other people are trying to listen into that frequency. Well, you can very simply, and this is only in a SHTF situation. I don't recommend doing this on the norm because it is a NOAA station. Talk on that frequency. Someone, hopefully within your area, will have their radio on, and holy cow, 65, 76, 108. Okay, I'm sorry, I just got sidetracked. Hopefully someone in the area is listening, and you may be able to go, hey, I need help, I'm here. And every so often you can give that call out, just an idea. It's not something that I wouldn't recommend it normally, believe me, I would not. But in a life or death situation, you do what you have to do to save your ass. You know what I'm saying? Because there's only one of you and you cannot be replaced. So I'd rather scream on the NOAA frequency, I'm stuck under a beam because my house fell on me because this tornado came through, rather than sit there and have a radio in your hand and not think of something to call out for help. Just saying. Okay. Now, as you can see on the bottom side, we have the UHF side, 440.800. Okay. Now, that beeping that you just heard, that's my local repeater. Okay. So when you transmit, okay, you can see the frequency changed. Okay. What does that mean? Okay, you see it says 440.800, and then you transmit and it says 445.800. That is called a shift. Okay, so it is shifting 5 megahertz positive. That's what the plus stands for in the screen. Okay, now this is where the learning comes into play. All right, your shift is, let me see if I can find it. Okay, see, you set your offset, which is your shift. Okay, now the shift minus D. Okay, what that is it allows you to shift positive, negative, or none. Okay, so say that you're not talking on any kind of repeater. Okay, you're talking from radio to radio. It's just you, your buddy, your group, your son, your daughter, nephews, the dog, whoever. Okay, you want to just talk to that person. Okay, now this radio is also set on the same frequency here. Okay, see, 440.800. Okay, but that one is got the plus. Okay, this one doesn't. Okay, so when I transmit that, see, it's not shifting, but it's going to hear it on that radio over there on the same frequency. Okay, so now when I transmit on this radio, since it's already set up for the shift, when I key, you see that? It shifted 5 megahertz. Okay, so that's going through the system here. Okay, so when you want to just talk point to point, or you don't have use of any kind of repeater whatsoever, then that's when you're going to use the no shift. Okay, no shift means there's no plus, there's no negative. See this one? It's got the plus. Okay, it doesn't have a plus or a minus. That means you are not shifting frequencies. You're talking directly on that frequency. Okay, let's go back to this radio. So say that you do want to get into, some kind of repeater. VHF repeaters are offset or shifts 0.600. So 100 kilohertz over a half a meg. If that makes any sense. Well, what does that mean? All right, let's go to VHF. Okay, so we go here and then hit the menu. Okay, and you go up. You see where it says offset? Now it says 600. Okay, so what that means is that when you go down here, okay, let's get out of here. All right, it's 800. All right, that's the merge channel. Okay, so 151.800. Okay, you see that it's showing a shift. It's going to transmit 152.400. Okay, so let's go to this radio here. Okay, I'm going to go here. 150. Okay, that one doesn't have a shift. Notice that? So we can talk on this radio here. You hear that? Okay, that's because that radio doesn't have a shift, but this radio has a shift. Okay, so now when I speak here, hello, see, that radio doesn't hear anything. That's because it's transmitting on a different frequency. Okay? So, but if we went to this other frequency... Oop, hold on. Put in the wrong frequency. 152,400. Okay, you see that? 152,400. See this radio here? When this transmits, it'll start transmitting there. All of a sudden, there's voice on this radio. Okay? So, that's what your shift does. Okay? Now, and I'm using non-ham radio frequencies right now. Okay? Now, for your ham radio frequency, let's just use, 14685. Okay? There's normally a repeater there in most areas. Okay? 14685. Anything below 147 megahertz. Okay? At that spot and down. You see that? 146,995. It will always be a negative shift. So you go to your shift and select negative. Okay? See that? You see it says negative? Okay? And then to get out of that, you just tap your PTT. All right, you push the talk. And then all of a sudden, look, it's transmitting 146,400. Okay? So 146,850. All right, there's a repeater there. You want to try to get into it. You put in your frequency, put in your shift, and it's going to shift. Okay? All right, QCat, but I put that in, and there's some special tone or code or private line that I'm supposed to put in. What's that about? Well, that's called PL tones. PL tones are sub-audible tones. Okay? Sub-audible means that you cannot hear it, but the radio equipment can. All right? So let's go back over to the 440.800. Okay? So, you want to change bands, just hit that. You see, it's already got a shift, right? We're still trying to use a repeater. Okay? So you want to use a repeater. Key up. Look at that. Okay? You get a Roger beep that comes back. All right? Not a Roger beep, a courtesy tone. Forgive me. All right? So we'll go here. All right? Now, we turned off the shift on this radio. Okay? So, now that that's off, we have to turn the shift back on, and we have to put in that special code. Okay, so you hit your menu. See where it says shift? Hit your menu. All right, and this is going to be a positive shift since it's at 440 megahertz. Okay, so you got that, right? All right, what about the special tone? Go through your menu, your extensive menu. Okay, and then you start seeing this. Okay, RDCS, or Receive Digital Code Squelch. Unless you know for a fact that you're running DCS, you choose the DCS code. Okay, if you're not running a DCS receive code, ignore it. Receive CTCS. All right, it's supposed to be CTCSS, or Continuous Tone Carrier Squelch, I believe is what it stands for. Okay, so you want your transmit tone. Okay, so the receive tone, your transmit is what you want. Okay, so TCTCS. Okay, so say that you have a book, and the book gives you a frequency of I don't know, 449, 425 with a PL tone of 192.8. Okay, so your CTCSS, or transmit continuous tone. All right, you're gonna go into your menu. All right, and then you're gonna scroll down until you see 192.8. And once you see 192.8, you hit your menu and you get out of it. And you set your tone. Now, well, how do I know if the tone is working? Well, some of these radios, if If you look over there in the corner, it says CT, or carrier tone. Okay. All right. All right, Q. I said it. I can hear the repeater. I can hear people talking, and I have a message I have to get out. But every time I talk, I don't hear the tone. I just don't hear the. Okay. What am I doing wrong? Okay. There's two ways to go about it. Okay. If people are holding a continuous conversation and you can't try to key the repeater, this is an old trick. You can go to where it says RTCSS. Okay? And when you go in there, as people are talking, you can just go to the receive, start scrolling the PL tones, and do it slow. What happens is, some people set their repeaters up where the transmit PL is the same as the receive PL. And then when you're scrolling through, you see the little green light, you know? I mean, you see that going off, and you're like, damn, I really got to get this message out, but people just won't shut the hell up. And if you don't know what the PL tone is, you can keep scrolling until the voice finally pops through. And when it pops through, the number that you stopped on is the number that is the code for the repeater. Okay? That is an old trick. Okay? So let's just say there is nobody talking. Okay? And you really got to get this message out. And you don't know what the PL tone is. Well, what you can do is you can start at 67. Hit your menu and key. Okay. Nope, that's not it. I didn't get anything come back. Hold on. Okay. Come on. 69. Key. Nope, that's not it. Okay. And... okay. Nope, that's not it. And then what you can do is you can just slowly scroll through your tones until you get the right one. Mine just happened to be 179.9. Okay. Hit that. And then when you finally hear... the tone come back, yeah, I got it, then you can put your message out. Okay? So that's what that means with the TCTCS, it's missing the other S, and the RCTCSS. Okay? The T stands for your transmit, continuous, carrier, squelch, whatever the hell that shit stands for. And the R is for your receive. Alright? In a SHTF situation, I do not recommend running a receive PL or a receive DCS or digital coded squelch. Reason being, you know, if you are in a situation where you're bugging out or something to that effect, you know, and if you're good-hearted or whatever, if someone else happens to stumble across you, hopefully they're good guys, and they happen to hear you and they're calling you, if you have a receive PL set, you will not be able to hear them. Okay? So, that's entirely up to you. I'm not making any recommendations. Some people don't like to hear other crap. Other people want to hear everything. I personally like to hear everything. Okay? So, that covers your transmit tone, your transmit DCS, and DCS is nothing but another version of a PL tone, or some people call it private line tones or whatever. Nothing but a subaudible tone. Well, what's the difference? What's the difference between your standard PL tones and the DCS? DCS gives you a hell of a lot more options. Okay, you can see it starts at 23, goes all the way up to 754. Okay, it goes a long way. You have a lot more options. Okay. Can you turn on your transmit and receive PL tones to different frequency, to different tones on the same frequency? So let's just say, all right, let's go back up to VHF. All right, let's go 151, 800. Okay. Let's just say you want to run a digital coded squelch tone of, I don't know, let's give it like 500 if it even go there. I don't use DCS too often. Okay, let's just see. 503. Okay, let's run 503. Okay, so you're running a transmit DCS of 503. You want to run a receive CTCSS. Let's make it hard. Let's go 2035. Okay, which is an oddball. I'm sorry, 2065. Even more odd. Okay. Now, this is where it gets interesting. I'm trying to look for the split here, the shift, so that way when I transmit, I'm transmitting on the same frequency here. If I can find the damn thing. There it is. Okay. All right. So, we just set the radio to 151.800 megahertz. Okay. Which we're going to do the same here. Okay.
Menu.
Hold on. No. Hold on. I got to change the band.
15180.
Okay. We heard that readout.
Menu.
Okay. We're going to change. Make sure the shift is off. Okay. See? Shift is off. Oh. Darn it. I hit that button and it totally screwed me up. Okay. Now. What the hell was the PL tones? Okay.
DCS.
Okay. And we're going to set this to 503. I believe that's what it was.
Confirm.
Okay. Then you receive CTCSS
CTCSS.
67.
Confirm.
Okay. So now both these radios are set up the same way. All right. Okay. Okay, as you can see, they're both transmitting on the same frequency. Okay. Here's the kicker about receive PL tones. All right, as you can see, we set it up so this radio has a receive PL tone. If for whatever reason you are a digit off or you screw up and you're programming in a hurry and you send your scout out and you meant to hit, you know,
Menu.
receive PL of 67, but instead you hit 69.3.
CTCSS.
Okay. Say you hit that, but you meant to hit
CT.
67. The person's never going to hear you. Okay. This is the bad part about receive PL tones. All right. So if you're going to run a receive PL tone, you need to sit down and set both radios at the same time and figure out that when you talking to this radio is going to hear you. Okay. Or vice versa. Okay. I can key up. You can see that there's a signal there. Okay. But there's nothing coming through. Okay. But if I hit the monitor, no, it's not going to do it. So, but if you take the receive PL off, okay,
Confirm.
then it comes right through. You see? So, really important to remember. There it is. Really important to remember what the receive PL tone does. Okay? In a nutshell, that's what that is. Okay? These radios scan. Most of these radios will give you a shortcut. You hit menu, and where it says scan. Really? You're not going to do it?
CTCSS.
Hold on a second.
Scanning begin.
Oh. This radio, you just hold scan, and it'll start scanning for you. Okay? This radio, I believe it does the same thing. Now, you have to look for the button that says scan. They're not all in the same place. But this radio here, also hit scan, and it'll start scanning for you. Okay, well, what does scan do? Well, scan looks for activity around the spot that you have your radio set to. Okay, that's all scan does basically. Okay, so you know, say there's people around you that have radios, but you don't know where they're talking. Now with scan, there has to be activity. and you don't have to know where they are. So you just hit the scan button, let the radio do what it wants to do, and when it stops, the radio lights up, it blinks, lets you know. It basically lets you know, hey, I found something. Some radios beep when it finds stuff. Other radios just stop. It lights up. It depends on how you set up the radio. Okay. So back to the offset. All right. How do you stop the scan? You just hit the push to talk. It stops it. At least it's supposed to. Okay. It's supposed to. Okay. It did. All right. So back to, okay, this is running a PL tone, okay, and as you can hear, that when you transmit, you get that cool little beep that comes back to you. Okay, might help if I put it on the right side. Okay, okay, so how was all that working? Well, it goes back to what I told you before. You have your offset. Okay, that is 5 megahertz, and you have your PL tone is, for my machine, is 179.9. Okay, every repeater is different. That is not set in stone. That's just what I chose. It just works out that way. Okay. Okay, hang on a second. All right. I'm trying to find a. That battery's dying. Okay, these radios, it's programmable through a computer mainly. This radio here, it's got a government flash, so I can program the radio through the keypad. You know, you see there it says keypad programming. It allows me to do all of the stuff that this radio does, except this is a commercial radio and it does digital. We're not going to get into digital. It's a totally different thing. Okay. It is way different. But if you want to hear what digital sounds like, we can do that. Okay. Digital is going to sound like this. I think my battery's dead. Yeah, the battery's dead. Darn it. That sucks. Yep, battery just died on me. That sucks. But it'll make a really loud buzzing noise. Okay. Grab another battery. I haven't used this radio in forever. So hey, look at that. Yep. Nope, battery's dead. That sucks. But that's how to use these radios. The most simplest operation is knowing how to use your shift, your scan, and your PL tone, and the fact that it's got the FM radio function. Remember, just tap and it takes you there. Okay. Really cool little feature to have. This is another commercial radio up here. It's a Motorola CP200. That is a computer program radio only. It is a 16-channel radio. This is a UHF radio, 403 to 470. This radio has a very narrow area that it can go into. These radios are very broad. Okay. Now, if you notice, the antennas are about the same on these radios. This one is just 8 to hell because it's really old. One of the things I recommend is when you get these radios, these antennas are basically wet noodles. They are just enough to not blow the radio up when you talk on them. There's a company, you can get them on eBay or Amazon, Nagoya, Nagoya. They make antennas for these radios. It'll say Baofeng, whatever brand radio you have, Yaesu, Alinco, whatever. They sell antennas that will directly replace. You just unscrew, okay, and you pop in the new one, and it has gain, and they work a lot better. And you take the old one, you put into a baggie, and you save it, because when the other new antenna breaks, you have something to replace it with. All right. Hopefully this video has been helpful. And if you have any comments or questions, just leave it down below. You got the QCat.